Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the program Inside Motherhood here on Spectrum Television. My name is Rachel David White. Well, today on the program Inside Motherhood, you already know this is a program that talks about things you need to know as a mother and, of course, connects you to your family as well. It's a program that enlightens you about the things you ought to be. The 16th day of May 2023, and May 16th of each year has been observed as International Day of the Boy Child. Well, this day is dedicated to, of course, the well-being of a child to achieve the true gender of the boy child in the world. The International Day of the Boy Child was inaugurated in 2018 by Jerome PhD, a thought leader on gender issues and founder of International Men's Day. Most of us are aware that the United Nations marks October 11th of each for and also creating awareness on issues surrounding the well-being and development of the boy child. Neither of the genders should be left behind. Balance is everything. We'll come to that. Today is a day that we've set aside to tell you, let's say, create awareness about 16th, which is on Tuesday, so you have knowledge about the things you need to do, or the things you would hear, or the things that you were a boy child. That's a wow. So I must say that this day actually exists, and for today on the program Inside Motherhood, we are going to tell you, as a mother, not just as a mother, as a father, intending mother, as a sister, what you need to know about your boy child. Don't leave that child behind. You need to teach that child. There is a saying that goes, if you want to save a girl child, then you have to start by first training the boy child. That's how to get your girl child safe. Well, before I go on and on and on and on, we have someone in the house who is going to be talking to us today about what we need to know about International Day of the Boy Child and, of course, the boy child as a whole. So today in the house, I'm happy to welcome a very beautiful lady sitting in. Okay, let's quickly just start by talking about the day. Yes, we already know about the International Day of the Girl Child. Everybody talks about what you need to do for the girl child. Advocacy for the girl child is something that, yeah, in Akwa Ibom State, we have FERA, we have FIDA, everything talks about the girl child. And then we tend to leave the boy child behind. We tend to feel that they can fend for themselves. We tend to feel that they are strong enough to cater for themselves. We tend to ignore their needs. So let's start by talking about this day. What is the day? Tuesday is going to be on Tuesday, right? Yes. So it's good that we start today to at least inform the people who never knew, because this is coming as a shock to so many people. Yes, there are so many people that are...
The International Day of the Boy Child is a day set aside to primarily, like you have already said, there are many people who are not aware that such a day exists. That day exists to draw people's attention to the boy child himself, to draw people's attention to the need to raise the boy child, to give him a hand, give him the necessary support to grow, develop, and advance as much as we have given the girl child over the years, because we need to have a balance. So far, we've given the boy child a hand, the girl child the attention, the boy child, because he too needs to advance.
Okay, for this year, is there a theme for the year already?
Yes, a theme for 2023 is boys and mental health.
Wow.
And then
I think I kind of like that, boys and mental health.
Yes. So boys and mental health, many people, to man up, he cannot show emotions, he cannot cry, he cannot ask questions, he can just, everybody feels he's strong, he can cater for himself.
Okay, on this program I like to use examples a lot, and especially some things around me. So I've been around in the neighborhood where the boy child is crying, something happens, maybe he was eating with a sister, and then time the sister took his meat and he cried, and the mother says, "Why are you crying? You're a man. Why are you crying? You're not supposed to cry. You're a boy." So it starts from there.
It starts from there, actually. And another instance is when probably there are two children, a boy and a girl, and then let's assume they're in a school, maybe high school, and then there's trouble somewhere. Someone attacks the girl or beats her up, and she reports to the teacher or parent, and then immediately people rally around her to look for the person who beat my daughter up, who made you cry. And then the boy comes with the same report. The question is, go back and fight the person.
Okay.
He too needs that support.
Yeah.
He too needs that backing. He too needs to know that he's loved, he's being cared for, and then he needs to know that he can always fall back on the fathers, the mentors, and everyone around him.
Okay. Now, let me ask, what are the chances that a boy child is likely abused? I know it's common, you know, a girl was raped, was attacked by a gang of boys, was, you know, who said, oh, I grew up in the middle of, you know, aunties, and then, you know, women all around the house. Oh, I started doing this at this age, I started doing this at this age, and then it affected me, and then, you know, I was abused. But then, at that time, you know, I know parents don't pay attention to boy children being abused.
Yeah.
And it's hard to find out that they were abused. But you see the female touch them and they know. So the body raises an alarm already, she's been touched. But for the male children, they are not easily, okay, I think that attention is not given to them to even speak out, oh, I have been abused, let alone taking it as an important thing. Oh, my boy has been abused. So what are those chances that the boy children
The
could be
chances are the
abused?
same. The chances of abuse are the same. The same because they don't talk about it.
Oh,
They
the
try
bottle
to
it
they
up.
try to bottle it up. They try, even the parents, the caregivers, try to make them feel, no, you cannot talk about it. It's only the girl child that is vulnerable or can be abused. But there are many instances of boys molestation. If they come out to tell their stories, you would know. Many have been spoken with me, even people who are adults now, men. I hear stories like, I was abused by my aunt, I was abused by this. It's the same.
I feel
It's the
like, you know,
same. It's
when
the
you're saying
same.
this, I'm like, I would love to sit down and listen to a man who hasn't been abused talk and say, oh, I was. People so mean, but for the men, I know, could it be this? I know that there is stigmatization when it comes to the women, but do we have same for the men? I mean, a man coming out to say, okay, I've seen situation where, like for example, Fida Fereb, okay, that's a platform where women can actually, not just women, report abuse, but then I've also had reports from them that some of these men have been abused by their wives, but they can't come out to say it because other people are going to say a woman beat you up.
It still falls back on the notion that a man is strong, a woman is strong. The society believes defend himself. He can always be on top of his game, but there are many times such defense doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Many times even adult men have been abused. Okay, domestic violence, there are many men who have gone in for it, and then nobody talks about it. Please, we should talk more about it. And another thing is the laws we had back then did not make room for redress for the men or the boy child to seek redress. Because under the Nigerian laws, I'm a lawyer so I can talk about it, under the Nigerian laws, it wasn't believed that a man or a boy can be raped. But now there is such law.
Yeah.
Yes, the VAP law recognizes the fact that anybody can be raped, whether a man or a woman, whether a male, a boy, or a girl child. So that's optional. On the way we watch our boys, the same way we're diligent in watching our girl children, we should apply the same level of diligence and consistency.
Okay, well, this is just me taking this time to call out people to come closer to your TV set because we are discussing something that has to do with you. It can, if it keeps, you know, having anything to do with you today, it's going to have something to do with you in the future. Either way around, it could be your brother, it could be your nephew, it could be your neighbor, anybody. It could be your student or your pupil in school. So come closer, let's talk about it. We are taking a look at the International Day of the Boy Child, set aside to celebrate and also to create awareness, of course, to find out those things that bothers the boy children, that attention hasn't been paid, you know, hasn't been given to. So that's why we're discussing ahead of time. Well, this day is set aside for 16th day of May, which is on Tuesday. So we'll still celebrate the male strength on Tuesday. But for today, if you have a question you want to ask about the boy child, if you have a contribution, feel free. The phone number is displayed on your TV screen. We are going to attend to your contributions or questions. Meanwhile, we have in the house all the way from the Adams Project Africa in the person of, I'd like to add barrister right now, Mary Umana. Welcome once again.
Thank you so much, Rachel. Thank
Okay,
you.
so we've you know, talked about the chances that male children can also be abused as well, and when we've talked about the significance of the day. Now, what are those abuses that a boy child is likely to face?
Physical abuse, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, they are bound. The right to dignity of his person can be abused. He has a right to life. People can just decide to cut his life short. He has a right to education. There are so many regions in Africa that boys are not in school.
Interesting.
Yes, there are so many regions in Africa that boys are not in school. And then he has the right to health. Now, thank God we're talking about mental health this year. He has the right for his mental health to be protected.
Now, I'm sorry to cut you. We're still going back there, okay? But look, what I think when you mentioned the theme, I said, wow, it's amazing, you know, attaching it to mental health. What do you think led to that? Would I say coinage? What happened? What led to, you know, that it's quite attractive? Like
Absolutely.
it's quite. I mean, it's broad, and mental health. Adding mental health. What led to that theme?
I may not really tell what led the United Nations to agree on that theme for this year, but I'm equally glad that we're talking about mental health, because we're in a society presently where everywhere is noisy, everybody seems to have it all together on the screen, on the face of it. In this era of social media, everybody seems to be well packaged, but deep down something is eating them up. It is more difficult with oftentimes, and you know, with talking you can ease off some stress. But the boy child who has grown into a man has been taught that no, you cannot cry, you cannot show emotion. No, you don't have money, but you don't have to tell your wife that you don't have money. Oh, you don't have money to pay fees. You don't see, even if you don't need to tell your son there's no money right now. So he keeps thinking, how do I pay fees? How do I provide for my home? How do I? And the next person who does not understand what this man is going through is mounting pressure, money, these demands here and there. And then, like somebody said some time ago, and I think I agree with it, that we have mental health is the reason we have more widows than widowers.
Wow.
Because the man goes through a lot from childhood as a boy. The boy child
Men
goes
will be
through
so excited listening to you right now talk. Okay, go ahead.
The boy child goes through so much as a child. He is placed in a position where he's supposed to cater for his sisters, be there for them, and then there's nobody to be there for him. So he has so much load on himself, and he is not permitted or expected to voice it out, or to even show by body language that he is going through stuff. And it gets to here, and it affects them. They grow with it, and they grow into, most of them grow into men who lack empathy, who lack compassion. They cannot think, they cannot put themselves in another person's shoes to even think of how it will feel in such maybe a terrible situation, because I feel I have been there before, and I've gone. I did not die.
And that's one of the issues.
I'm glad that we're talking about it at the boys' level,
Okay,
before they get to the men's level.
all right. So you touched the point we're about going into. That's the effect of these abuses on the male child rather. So let's get to, apart from the fact that they grow up to feeling that, oh, come on, you're not supposed to express yourself. After all, I was taught to you know, bottle it, or I've got it all here. So everything is fine. You're supposed to act like everything is fine. I've been close to someone who says, okay, maybe as a woman you say, oh, I'm feeling pains here. You say, if I show you the pains I've been living with for weeks, for months without voicing out. So you have to bear yours. So you get. Now, you now understand that that's because the person has been taught as a man, you need to not give sex. Let's get to touch other areas.
Okay, I think I'd really, really like to talk about loving themselves. Because when you have women around, women can call themselves pet names.
Don't go there. You know, it sounds odd.
But a man cannot. I like the fact that they see themselves and they are like, Chairman, Alpha, Odogu, and they don't know their
Each
names.
other,
But
yes.
let one person say, bye, dear, hi, bye-bye, dear. It will
sound odd.
sound
There's
odd,
something
and
wrong with
something
this
will just
man.
go off in their heads and their minds. Because they've been groomed, you cannot receive love. I think talking about mental health here means they should learn to receive more love. They should learn to receive compliments, regardless of where it comes from, whether from a man or from a woman. If a man shakes your hand, you're doing well, okay, I think they should receive more love. It doesn't mean that they are going to be now. It starts from when they're small. The same way we show love to the girl child, the same way we pamper her, we should pamper this boy child. If you are a parent who tells your children, I love you every time, tell the girl child, tell the boy child, let him, he too deserves validation. The same way we validate girls, you are beautiful, you're fine, you're this, you're that. Please, we do the same for the man, for the boy. He grows into a man who already feels he's loved.
People who are lucky to grow in a home where they are loved, you know, pampered, often, you know, praised, and then maybe they are the only male in the house. They've got sisters and their mother doesn't joke with them and they're given whatever they want. And then they grow up to a point where, oh, let's take a look at the case of Hakimi and his mother, you know, and then away from that, and then they tend to become this kind of man that is married and falls back to the house every time there's an issue, or becomes softer. Okay, in the aspect of being a man, you understand, maybe some who do not run away from electricity, can't change the light bulb in the house.
Really?
Yes, you know, can't put on the gas, or maybe, you know,
Change the tire.
yes, you know, things like that, simple things like that in the house, all because they grew up in a house where they were the only guys, and then they were, you know, taken care of, maybe not just the only boy, but they were taken care of, were not allowed to, so they grow up to become would I say like women as
Feminine.
well. Yes, so don't you think this also has an effect?
Okay, we try to, in advocating for boys, we try as much as we can to tell the world and everybody that while you're bringing up your children, please take away stereotypes in any form.
Okay.
So if there is a light bulb to be changed, both the genders should learn to do that.
I grew up from a house, you know, and change it. So I grew up
to
learning how to do those things, and it became a normal thing. So he did not come back from wherever he went to, and the house is dark. And then he said, "What happened? You couldn't change to solar?" He said, "Daddy, you must learn how to do it. You must learn how to change tire, like you say. You must learn how to do other stuff." So sometimes you feel, why is this man, you know, giving me the male job? And then as a man too, you need to learn how to cook, you need to learn how to help a woman and all of that.
So you don't grow into being dependent, too dependent on some other person, or being entitled that if she doesn't cook for me, I won't eat or won't survive. People who grew up in families where they were not given an opportunity to learn everything. I'm not saying be perfect, but at least learn, know how to do a little bit of everything.
And let it be that you can cook rice, you can't cook soup.
That is it. Let it be that you can cook, and then farming is for the boys. And the society over time, I think, is a societal problem, has sold this notion to us.
So let's not jump away from some of the effects. We'll come into the societal effects, yes.
Okay, so
because that's a big thing on its own.
The Holy Book says, bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. Is not gender-centric. So upbringing, proper grooming, development should cut across all gender. Give the girl child a hand, and then give the boy child the same hand. Let them grow together. The society will be better. We will have the balance that we all clamor for now. It begins with training the boy child right.
Okay, back to the people. This is the program Inside Motherhood here on Spectrum Television, and we are talking about grooming the boy child. How can you groom your boy child? How can you nurture the baby boy in your hand to grow? May and is a day set aside by the United Nations to celebrate and create awareness for, or should I say, advocate for the boy child. Okay, so everything you need to do, the do's and don'ts of how to bring up your boy child, is what we are talking about on today's program, Inside Motherhood. As a mother, this starts from you. You have a lot to play, a lot of role to play in bringing up your children, boy or girl. Send a text message or a WhatsApp message and we will address your concerns. Well, today we have in the house Mary Omana. She is an advocate for the boy child. I think I'm excited, you know. It's the same way seeing a man advocate for a woman, you know, the girl child. So I'm seeing a woman advocates for the boy child. I know that normally a woman advocates for the boy child or the girl child. That's because she's a mother. So you can't say, oh, this one is a boy, this one is a girl. So and then I think the mothers tend to even love the boy children, yeah, the
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
There's this feeling that the society has given to us that, oh, the boy child is a very important asset, so you have to care, you have to nurture, you have to pay attention. Like I say, in my neighborhood, I have a mother who has three children, two girls and a boy.
Okay.
So the boy doesn't cry even if the boy did wrong and the mother, you know, hits the boy and the boy cries uncontrollably. She will come back to say, come, I'm sorry. But you see the girl, she could cry her life out. And then she keeps advising the boy, anytime your sister beats you, beat her back. Okay? Don't ever let her beat you. And then, yeah, so, but I also see the negative effect, okay, on that boy because he decides to step out and the mother says, come here. And he says, Mommy, I'm not coming, you know. And then maybe at the point the mother will beat him, he will stop eating and the mother will go and plead, come and eat. So he's growing up every day, you know, to be so conscious and confident that, oh, actually, if I don't eat, she's coming for me. So at the same time, something tells me if this woman still goes this way, one day this boy will, maybe the mother wants to slap him and hold the mother's hands and say, no more child. And then let's talk about the society today where we know that, okay, recently there has been a call by the Nigerian army to create awareness on drug abuse. Now, that's because a greater number of the youths are being affected. You would also agree with me that, yeah, talking about the youth who are being affected by, you know, who are being involved in drug abuse, narcotics, and all those stuff, it is the male.
Yeah.
Recently, also, I don't know if you are aware, we had a cult clash at Waniba. Know that we also have some female cultists, but then it is the male who are the leaders, even in the female circle. Now, you places like that, you still find the male being, you know, most vulnerable to joining cultism, to armed robbery, and a whole lot of that. And I still think, is it, yeah, most times we link it to unemployment, or they didn't have what to do, so they have to do what they see. Okay, and then sometimes you get to find out that these ones are from wealthy homes, yet they're still, oh, these ones were pampered. I've actually seen a boy in school that the mother would send him money, doesn't allow him to, you know, have any issues. Oh, we went to the first school together when I had my diploma, and then he was there, and then he left there. He didn't complete his studies, came to the next school. He stayed there until I finished my 4-year course. He was still there for extra 3 years. Now, and the parents were trying to send money to be pleading, oh, how can we help? At that point, he has all the support you're talking about. Okay. And then, oh, he was once involved in, you know, occultism activity, and then he was suspended in school, and then, you know, you still find out that this one's, even, would you say unemployment was involved in that aspect, or, you know, would you say it was because of money, or because he was wealthy, he was, you know, well to do, everything was the family was supportive, you know, showing him love like they should. So what is really the problem we are listening to? Okay, as mothers, we are saying, oh, come to us, lean on our shoulders, yet things like this are still happening.
It is improper upbringing. It is not totally unemployment. It is improper upbringing. You know, there is how parents can love their children into hell,
Okay.
into disaster. So that's the negative, pampering them in the negative sense now. Upbringing involves you love them the proper way, and then when it comes to discipline, you discipline them. Like the example you raised some minutes ago about the boy child who is given everything. He's not allowed to cry. He's not allowed to. He should be taught how to make decisions, how to make life decisions for themselves. Many people are told to think, but they're not taught how to think. Many people are taught to make choices. They are not taught how to make choices. It begins from when they were boys. So if you check in a family where you have boys, a boy child, and then he has sisters, the sisters are already independent minded. They know how to make decisions. They know how to be firm. They know, but the other person, because he's a boy, he's pampered and all of those, he grows up into a man not knowing who he is. So parents should learn. I think it's upbringing problem. They don't never allow your child to define his identity, to learn what his identity is from an outsider. You should, as a parent, show him who he is, lead him to discover who he is. Let him have a good sense of a good definition about what love is from the home, and let him have a good sense of definition of what's the other word now, the thing that pushes them to join power. Is a power. Let him have a good sense of identity. What's strength now? You know, if right from the it has reached the primary schools now. In secondary schools, if you don't do certain things that some boys do, you're seen as a Jew man. But if he knows his identity from home, if he knows the proper definition for love, he will know he is loved. He will know he is a great person. Give him affirmations. Validate him when he is small. But such that when he goes out there, when he's probably a bigger boy, and they're telling him, this is what you should do to become a strong man. This is how you should behave to show that you are this, you are a man. He will know that. I think he will shrug. He will decline, because he knows that right from time I have learned that I am loved, I am valued, my future is bright. Whatever comes to him, he grabs. Friends will influence him, and obviously it's going to be friends and colleagues who grew up in homes where they didn't get these trainings too. So it's not about unemployment or poverty now. If a boy grows up in a family where everything is being provided for him, everything financial, everything material, but the things that will help him grow into a better man, the disciplines, the precepts, the instructions, the teachings are not given him. All he will know, he doesn't want to think
I want
for
to be
himself.
a baller.
I want to be a baller, self-life. So,
Okay, now, yeah, let me give us an example. Well, for my dad in my house growing up, we grew up to a certain point where, okay, my father does not dash you money.
okay.
Yeah, he has money, but he can't dash you money. Like, say, oh, take this for your recharge card, take this for this, take this for that. So at the point we're like, where's this man like this? But if something happens in the house, he expects you to call him. Neither does he expect you to pick his money. But there are certain things that he expects you, certain skills you have, you understand, that expects you, and then he was expecting us to, you know, use it to do the things we're supposed to do, you know. We still felt that, oh, this man, why doesn't this man like us? I mean, oh, so person is giving their children money. Why is our own different? Then we'll just talk with my siblings, you know. At the point where my brother grew up being a producer, a music producer, my dad selling musical instruments and other stuff. So one day, thieves broke into his studio and took away his equipment. And then my brother did. And when my brother walked up to him, you know what he said? He said, oh, if you can't get yourself stuffs, Then you rent the place out, maybe to a barber, to anybody, and get the rent. You know, my brother felt so bad. And then Lagos, and then the guy came back to pay him, so he started again. Okay. But one thing my dad would do is, once you're big, he's so proud of you. He brings his big friends to say, oh, meet my son or meet my daughter. He's doing this, he's doing that. He'll advertise your business for you. So we grew up that way, just becoming strong. But you see everything in the house, you have it. At the point you stop buying clothes, you can sort that out for yourself. But you see food, changing things in the house, fixing the house, things, systems in your room, everything covered as well. But your own personal, say, recharge card, clothing is on your you're on your own. So I think when we lost him, that's when we realized what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
Because we lost him at a time where we never expected to. And then he was ill to a point that, we sold some of the cars when he was, you know, after the business almost closed down, spent a lot of money trying to resuscitate him. At the end of spending the whole money, he still died. So we had to pack whatever was remaining to bury him, you understand? So at this point, we didn't go back to zero. That skill, you know, that we kept on
with you.
So we kept on just going. We were able to help others who, at the point my mom joined just 6 months later. But then maybe at the point, there are some kids that if we were pampered at that point, we would have been
stranded.
Yes, looking for who to depend on. But no, we were able to even house people who are preparing us for what was unseen, you know, in the future. But this was the same man that there was a time that, if you're ill, my father would buy anything at that time to just make sure you're fine. So what changed, you know? So we started thinking, I'm just giving us an example, you understand? But away from that important role, maybe 2 or 3, that the society has to play in bringing up the boy child. Because I think the society is largely responsible for the fall of the male children as well.
Yes. Society is a collection of families, right? Good. So I blame it on the society and families. But then the society, it could be good at the family level, and then the boy child goes into the society, larger society, where you have schools, the workplaces, where he mingles and mixes with other boys. And if he wasn't well taught from home, he's being influenced by other boys who are not well bred. So the society has a place in the proper upbringing of the boy child. I'd like to say that first to a man, excuse me, who understands what love is, who knows how to express love to the next person, and he gets married, he's married to his wife, and the society tells him, yeah, woman rapper. He does something to his psyche.
Let me explain at that point to some people who may not understand. There is a man who wants to help his wife in the kitchen, wants to watch for his wife and his children,
because he's been taught how to do so.
Yeah, wants to do this. And then maybe your mother, sometimes the mother even may not have taught him, maybe exposure, maybe reading, maybe seeing, other people do it. And then the mother says, what are you doing? You're allowing a woman to use your head? Or what did she do for you, Or the society, maybe the friends now say out, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry guys, I'm helping my wife cook. What is this guy doing? And then the next day they try to talk you into, trying other lifestyles. Yes. So that's the point she was trying to say.
Yes, we should just stop it. We don't have gender roles. In as much as I know that physically, by our body,
Africans.
Yes.
In Africa, in the African space, there is gender role.
Yes, because we defined it.
Yes.
Not that nature did.
So sometimes a man grows up to say, it was never done in my house. We can't do it here. I can't be the one doing this. I can't be the one. So it takes exposure. It takes
sensitization.
Yes, to actually say gender role is something we need to take a day to talk about.
Yeah, we should. There's this song that we used to sing in the nursery school. I heard it sometime last month in a school close to where I am. Mommy in the kitchen cooking rice, and daddy in the parlor.
Yeah, watching film.
Please, we should just stop. Some of these nursery rhymes we need to, because that's what we have, boys and girls.
Yeah.
It stays with them. I know when I was growing up, there's this boy who used to live around, family who used to live around us. They had just one boy, and everybody, when the parents would be, the mom will be cooking, he has this notion that no, he should stay in the parlor and to just read newspaper, because that's what he heard in nursery rhymes. There's some rhymes we should just stop singing. There's some songs we should just stop singing.
It starts from, I don't know, the little thing you would never believe. So yes, it starts from there.
So nursery rhymes, and then maybe some cliches, some slogans. We should just check. That's the place of the society now. People who are in schools, people who have influence, caregivers.
Do you know something I told someone recently? I said we need teaching the men, maybe make it you know, every Sunday, every third Sunday of the month, we're going to sensitize the men and the women on, you know, things to do, on even in the workplace. We're going to have clinic on this, on that. Yeah. I don't know. Well, I think if that is being done, it would make the world a better place.
I heard of something like that yesterday while we were still planning for this Tuesday, how to mark International Day of the Boy Child. I heard that there's gender devotion. Wow. Other days they mix, and then on that particular day of the week, I think a Thursday or so, they have boys meet differently and the girls meet differently. They get to talk about the things that affects them as boys or girls, and every other day they come together. I think it's fine. I like that idea. Not that they're going to establish gender wars or something. We're not competing, but then they should learn to know that there is more to them as boys. There is more to manhood or manliness. There is more to womanhood, and it needs to be taught, well taught.
You see, that still takes my mind back, where the Taliban have taken over, and then they have stopped, despite the concerns, the talks, the sanctions by the UN. Okay, they have stopped some female from going to school, from taking up some job positions, from even working, you know, in government organizations. So at that point, okay, this one really affects the women rather, but it's giving these men the mindset that, oh, come on, don't let a woman, you know, mess with you.
Rule over you in quotes. Rule over you in quotes.
So if we have that in a certain country, you know, do you think that one day there is hope to put things right? Because talking about gender equality as well, you know?
We just need to keep fighting, keep struggling, keep pushing, keep doing the best that we can. So with the truth that indeed we've been well raised, we've been groomed to be better. But how about these other people? Because no matter how much we clamor for gender equality or equity, whatever, whichever
you have to train the boy child. You have to
train the boy child, because it calls for balance. If a woman's IQ is here,
there's no
how we would think at the same frequency.
Things turned around. Let me explain. There was a time where the female was not anything in the society, wasn't valued, wasn't attention wasn't even paid to her, you know, and a whole lot of that. She wasn't sent to school. Take the likes of Alakija, take the likes of even Gozio Konjo-Iweala has, you know, a story to tell, you know, a whole lot of those women that are great in the society today will tell you, oh, I grew up in a house where female didn't go to school. Now, so they strived. It was sensitization, you know, creating awareness. I think it changed and even left the male behind.
They took the challenge. You know, one thing about women, when we set our minds to do something, we go all out. We go all out for it. You may not have known that these women had gone to school if they did not make the noise. We know how to sound our trumpet. But then even if a man goes far, he feels the society has told him, just do it quietly. You don't need to. Why are you talking like a woman? It's your job to do it.
Okay, because of time, let's just use a minute to round off. So what are we expecting on Tuesday?
On Tuesday, International Day of the Boy Child. I'm super excited. It's going to happen. For about 7 African countries will be going into putting up several activities like schools outreach. A place like Ghana, they'll be doing door-to-door advocacy on the need to raise the boy child rights. In Liberia, they have, we'll be here. Absolutely, we'll be here. And then we'll be doing Vox Pop, because we try to focus our attention this year on the boys on the streets. Street boys who do not even have, other boys are already in schools, they have homes, they have churches they attend, but these ones on the street have nobody to talk to them. But then we expect them to grow into better men tomorrow, right? So we will be going into the street to talk with these boys, to even if they're on the street, we want
Give
to
them a
collect this
listening
data,
ear.
give them a listening ear, and give them the an affirmation that there is somebody who cares for them, and then with time they can arrive at that height that
Away
they
from
hope
giving
to
them
be.
a listening ear, what happens if you just listen to them and you leave and they're still on the
We
streets?
have follow-up strategies. We
Okay,
have follow-up
okay.
strategies, monitoring and evaluation. Will carry all of those things out. The ultimate goal is to take them off the street,
Oh,
but it will
okay.
not happen in one swipe.
Yeah.
We'll just keep going back to them, because even if you organize events in maybe a fine place and you invite them to come, they won't come, because the society already, their life has made them believe that no,
They can't meet up.
I can't meet up. That's not my class. But we take advocacy
Okay.
to them.
All right. Thank you so much, Mary Umana.
Thank you.
Well, for the boy child, like with glee and excitement over very little things. Children generally cry when they are in pain or sad. They may sulk or become quiet when they crave attention, and scream at the top of their lungs when they are angry. This is what makes them children. They are not scared of being vulnerable. This tells you that there is no iota of deceit in a child. Someone once said, if a child tells you you're pretty, then you're truly pretty, because children by default don't lie. The boy child, as he grows every day, looks up to a role model, a father, an uncle, a teacher. A nearest available male figure usually has their heart. Before long, as the boy develops further, he's thought to be a man, to man up. He's so the lie. The boys don't cry. It's normal to hear, why are you crying? Are you a woman? As these things continually register in their subconsciousness, he builds a wall above his fears, insecurities, unanswered questions and pain. He becomes a child trapped in an adult body. Society has projected on the male gender, who was once a boy child, that they are not allowed to express soft emotions, and this in itself takes away their human nature. Here is the reason. I won't talk more. I would end it here. But a word is enough for the wise. Go back home and take care of your boy child. Go back and give your boy children a listening ear. Go and attend to them. Pay attention. Let them cry on your shoulders. Let them air their views. Let them tell you what they've been manning up. This is the program Inside Motherhood, and this is where we close the curtains for today on this program. We've had Mary Umana in the house talk about this program today. She is from the Adams Project Africa, and today she took time to tell us the things we need to know about a boy child, the changing boy child, on Tuesday, come May 16th. My name is Rachel David White. Good afternoon.